Imagine this: a quiet, somber funeral, filled with grieving loved ones, when suddenly a scruffy, uninvited guest walks in. Not a person, but a dog. A dog with matted fur and soulful eyes, who seems to know exactly where he's going. What happens next will leave you in tears and remind you of the incredible power of love, loyalty, and the unbreakable bonds that connect us, even beyond death. This is the story of a dog who showed up at a funeral, a dog who carried a secret so profound it touched the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. It's a story of loss, healing, and the unexpected ways our loved ones find to remind us that they're never truly gone. So grab a tissue, sit back, and let me take you on an emotional journey that will stay with you long after the story ends. And if this story touches your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt tales that remind us of the beauty of life and love. The small town of Willowbrook was known for its tight-knit community, where everyone knew everyone else. It was the kind of place where life moved slowly and people took the time to care for one another. But on this particular day, the town was cloaked in a somber atmosphere. The church bells tolled mournfully, echoing through the quiet streets, as the community gathered to bid farewell to one of their own, Margaret Maggie Thompson, a beloved teacher, friend, and mother. Maggie had been a pillar of the community for over 3 decades. She had touched countless lives through her kindness, her unwavering support, and her ability to make everyone feel seen and valued. Her sudden passing had left a void in the hearts of many, and the church was filled with mourners, each carrying their own memories of the woman who had meant so much to them. As the service began, the priest spoke of Maggie's life, her dedication to her students, and her love for her family. Her son Daniel sat in the front row, his face pale and his eyes red from crying. He had lost not just his mother, but his best friend. Maggie had raised him alone after his father passed away when he was just a child, and the bond between them had been unbreakable. The church was silent, save for the occasional sniffle or the rustle of tissues, but just as the priest was about to conclude his eulogy, a soft whimper broke the silence. Heads turned and murmurs rippled through the crowd as a scruffy, medium-sized dog with matted fur and soulful eyes walked slowly down the aisle. The dog's paws clicked softly against the wooden floor as it made its way to the front of the church. It paused for a moment, looking around as if searching for someone, before walking straight to Daniel. The young man froze, his breath catching in his throat, as the dog sat down beside him and rested its head on his lap. For a moment no one knew what to do. The priest hesitated, unsure whether to continue. But then Daniel reached out and gently stroked the dog's head, his tears flowing freely. "It's okay," he whispered, his voice trembling. "It's okay." The dog's presence was both unexpected and inexplicable. No one recognized it, and no one knew where it had come from. But as it sat there, its quiet demeanor and gentle eyes seemed to bring a sense of comfort to the grieving son. After the service, as the mourners filed out of the church, the dog followed Daniel to the gravesite. It stayed by his side as Maggie's casket was lowered into the ground, and it remained there long after the crowd had dispersed. Daniel, too, stayed behind, unable to bring himself to leave just yet. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the cemetery, Daniel finally spoke to the dog. "Who are you?" he asked softly, his voice barely above a whisper. "Why are you here?" The dog looked up at him, its eyes filled with a depth of emotion that seemed almost human. And then, as if understanding the question, it let out a soft whine and nuzzled Daniel's hand. It was then that Daniel noticed something around the dog's neck. A worn leather collar with a small metal tag. He reached out and turned the tag over, his heart skipping a beat as he read the inscription. "For Maggie, with love, always by your side." Daniel's breath caught in his throat as memories came flooding back. Years ago, when he was just a boy, his mother had told him a story about a dog she had once loved, a stray she had taken in during a particularly difficult time in her life. The dog had been her constant companion, a source of comfort and joy during a period of loneliness and heartache. But one day the dog had disappeared and Maggie had never been able to find it. "You're her dog," Daniel whispered, his voice breaking. "You're the one she always talked about." The dog let out a soft bark, as if in confirmation, and Daniel felt a wave of emotion wash over him. He knelt down and wrapped his arms around the dog, holding it tightly as tears streamed down his face. "You came back," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "You came back to say goodbye." The dog stayed with Daniel for the rest of the evening, following him home and refusing to leave his side. Over the next few days, it became clear that the dog had no intention of going anywhere. It was as if it had found its purpose, to be there for Daniel, just as it had once been there for Maggie. As the days turned into weeks, the dog became a familiar sight in Willowbrook. It accompanied Daniel everywhere, from the grocery store to the park, and it quickly became a beloved member of the community. People would often stop to pet it and ask Daniel about its story, and he would smile and say, "This is my mom's dog. It came back to take care of me." The dog's presence was a constant reminder of Maggie's love and the impact she had had on so many lives. It was as if she had sent the dog to watch over her son, to ensure that he would never feel alone. But the dog story didn't end there. One evening, as Daniel was going through some old photo albums, he came across a picture of his mother from years ago. In the photo, she was sitting on a park bench, smiling as a scruffy dog rested its head on her lap. Daniel's eyes filled with tears as he realized that it was the same dog, the one that had shown up at her funeral. He showed the photo to the dog, who wagged its tail and let out a soft bark as if recognizing its younger self. Daniel smiled through his tears and said, "You've been with us all along, haven't you?" The dog's story spread throughout the town, touching the hearts of everyone who heard it. It became a symbol of love, loyalty, and the unbreakable bonds that connect us, even beyond death. And for Daniel, the dog was a living reminder of his mother's enduring love, a love that would always be with him, no matter where life took him. In the end, the dog's unexpected appearance at Maggie's funeral was more than just a coincidence. It was a testament to the power of love and the ways in which it can transcend time, space, and even death. And for everyone who witnessed it, it was a moment they would never forget, a moment that left them in tears, but also filled their hearts with hope and gratitude. As the days turned into weeks, the dog, whom Daniel had started calling Buddy, became an inseparable part of his life. Buddy's presence was a constant source of comfort, a living reminder of his mother's love and the bond they had shared. Daniel often found himself talking to Buddy as if he were speaking to his mother, sharing his thoughts, his fears, and his dreams. And though Buddy couldn't respond with words, his gentle eyes and unwavering loyalty spoke volumes. One evening, as Daniel sat on the porch with Buddy by his side, he decided to dig deeper into the mystery of the dog's past. He pulled out the old photo album again and flipped through the pages, searching for more clues. Among the faded photographs, he found a letter tucked between the pages, a letter he had never seen before. It was addressed to him in his mother's handwriting. With trembling hands, Daniel opened the letter and began to read. "If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer with you. I want you to know how proud I am of the man you've become and how much I love you. You've been my greatest joy, my reason for everything. There's something I need to tell you. A story I've kept close to my heart for many years. When you were just a baby and your father had just passed away, I was lost. I didn't know how I would raise you on my own, how I would find the strength to keep going. And then, one day, a scruffy little dog showed up on our doorstep. He was thin and dirty, but his eyes were full of kindness. I took him in and he became my constant companion. I named him Buddy. Buddy was more than just a dog to me. He was my confidant, my source of comfort during the darkest days. He would sit by my side as I cried, and he would nudge me with his nose as if to remind me that I wasn't alone. When you were old enough to crawl, Buddy became your protector, always watching over you and keeping you safe. But one day, Buddy disappeared. I searched for him everywhere, but he was gone. It broke my heart, but I always believed that he had a purpose, a reason for leaving. And now, as I write this letter, I can't help but feel that Buddy will return to you when you need him the most. He's a special dog, Daniel, with a heart full of love and loyalty. If he finds his way back to you, know that it's a sign that I'm still with you, watching over you, just as Buddy once watched over me. I love you, my son. Always remember that you are never alone. With all my heart, Mom. Tears streamed down Daniel's face as he finished reading the letter. He looked at Buddy, who was sitting quietly beside him, his head resting on Daniel's knee. "You've been with us all along, haven't you?" Daniel whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "You came back for me, just like she said you would." Buddy let out a soft whine and nuzzled Daniel's hand as if to say, "I'm here. I'll always be here." From that day on, Daniel felt a deeper connection to Buddy. He began to share stories about his mother with the dog, recounting memories of their life together. He told Buddy about the time his mother had stayed up all night to help him finish a school project, about the way she would sing to him when he was sick, and about the countless sacrifices she had made to ensure he had a good life. Buddy listened intently, his eyes never leaving Daniel's face. It was as if he understood every word, as if he were reliving those memories alongside Daniel. Word of Buddy's story spread throughout Willowbrook, touching the hearts of everyone who heard it. The townspeople began to see Buddy as more than just a dog. He was a symbol of love, loyalty, and the enduring bonds that connect us, even beyond death. People would often stop Daniel on the street to ask about Buddy, and he would gladly share the story of how the dog had come into his life. One day, the local newspaper decided to feature Buddy's story in their weekly edition. The article, titled "A Dog's Love, A Tale of Loyalty and Loss," quickly became the talk of the town. Readers were moved by the story of Buddy's return and the profound impact he had had on Daniel's life. Many wrote letters to the editor, sharing their own stories of how animals had touched their lives in meaningful ways. The article also caught the attention of a local animal rescue organization. They reached out to Daniel, offering to provide Buddy with free veterinary care and grooming services. Daniel gratefully accepted their offer, and soon Buddy was looking healthier and happier than ever. His coat, once matted and dull, now shone with vitality, and his eyes sparkled with joy. The rescue organization also decided to honor Buddy by creating a special award in his name, the Buddy Award for Loyalty and Love. The award would be given annually to a pet that had demonstrated extraordinary loyalty or had made a significant impact on their owner's life. The first recipient of the award was, of course, Buddy himself. At the award ceremony, Daniel stood before the crowd, his voice trembling with emotion as he spoke about Buddy and the role he had played in his life. "Buddy isn't just a dog," he said. "He's a reminder of my mother's love, a love that continues to guide me even though she's no longer here. He's shown me that love is eternal, that it transcends time and space. And for that, I will always be grateful." The crowd erupted into applause, and Buddy, sitting proudly by Daniel's side, let out a joyful bark as if to say thank you. As the months passed, Daniel and Buddy's bond grew even stronger. They became a familiar sight in Willowbrook, walking through the town together, visiting Maggie's favorite spots, and spreading joy wherever they went. Buddy's presence brought a sense of healing to Daniel, helping him navigate the grief of losing his mother and find hope for the future. One day, as they were walking through the park, Daniel noticed a young woman sitting on a bench, her face streaked with tears. Buddy, as if sensing her pain, pulled gently on his leash and led Daniel toward her. The woman looked up, startled, as Buddy sat down in front of her and rested his head on her lap. "I'm sorry," Daniel said, approaching her. "He's very friendly. Are you okay?" The woman wiped her tears and managed a small smile. "I'm okay," she said. "I just lost someone very dear to me, and it's been hard." Daniel sat down beside her, and they began to talk. Her name was Emily, and she had recently lost her father to a long illness. As they shared their stories, Daniel realized how much they had in common. Both had lost a parent, both were struggling to find their way forward, and both had found solace in the love of a loyal companion. Emily's dog, a golden retriever named Max, had been her father's dog. Like Buddy, Max had been a source of comfort and strength during her darkest days. As they talked, Buddy and Max played together, their joyful barks filling the air. By the end of the conversation, Daniel and Emily had exchanged numbers and made plans to meet again. Over time, their friendship grew into something deeper, and they found in each other a kindred spirit, someone who understood the pain of loss and the power of love. Years later, Daniel and Emily stood together at Maggie's graveside, their hands intertwined. Buddy and Max sat quietly beside them, their presence a comforting reminder of the love that had brought them all together. Daniel placed a bouquet of flowers on his mother's grave and whispered, "Thank you, Mom, for everything." As they walked away, Daniel glanced at Buddy, who trotted happily beside him, his tail wagging. He thought about the journey they had been on, the grief, the healing, and the love that had carried them through. Buddy had been more than just a dog. He had been a bridge between the past and the present, a living testament to the enduring power of love. And as Daniel looked at Emily and Max, he knew that his mother's legacy would live on, not just in the memories they shared, but in the love they continued to give and receive. For love, as Maggie had always said, is eternal, and in the end, it is the only thing that truly matters. Daniel and Emily's relationship blossomed over the months that followed. They found solace in each other's company, sharing stories of their loved ones and finding comfort in the fact that they were not alone in their grief. Buddy and Max, too, became inseparable, their playful antics bringing joy and laughter into Daniel and Emily's lives. One crisp autumn afternoon, Daniel and Emily decided to take Buddy and Max on a hike to Willowbrook's scenic overlook, a spot that offered a breathtaking view of the town and the surrounding country. It was a place Maggie had loved, and Daniel often visited it to feel closer to her. As they reached the top, the sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow over the landscape. Daniel spread out a blanket, and they sat down, the dogs lying contentedly at their feet. For a while, they simply enjoyed the view, the silence between them comfortable and familiar. Then Emily turned to Daniel, her eyes soft with emotion. "Do you ever feel like they're still here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Like they're watching over us?" Daniel nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "All the time," he said. "Especially when I'm with Buddy. It's like my mom sent him to remind me that she's still with me in some way." Emily smiled, her hand reaching for his. "I feel the same way about Max. My dad loved him so much, it's like he left a piece of himself behind, just for me." They sat there for a while longer, the bond between them growing stronger with each passing moment. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Daniel felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in a long time. For the first time since his mother's passing, he felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. As the holiday season approached, Willowbrook transformed into a winter wonderland. The streets were lined with twinkling lights and the air was filled with the scent of pine and cinnamon. For Daniel, Christmas had always been a special time, a time when the town came together to celebrate love, family, and community. This year, however, the holidays felt bittersweet. It was his first Christmas without his mother, and the thought of celebrating without her was almost too much to bear. But Emily and Buddy were there, and they made sure he wasn't alone. On Christmas Eve, Daniel and Emily attended the town's annual tree lighting ceremony. The square was packed with people, their faces glowing with excitement, as they waited for the mayor to flip the switch and light the towering tree. Buddy and Max were there too, their tails wagging as they took in the sights and sounds of the festivities. As the tree lit up, casting a warm, golden light over the crowd, Daniel felt a lump form in his throat. He missed his mother more than ever, but he also felt her presence, as if she were standing right beside him, sharing in the joy of the moment. After the ceremony, Daniel and Emily walked back to his house, the dogs trotting happily beside them. When they arrived, Daniel was surprised to find a small package on the porch, wrapped in silver paper and tied with a red bow. There was no note, no indication of who had left it. Curious, Daniel picked up the package and brought it inside. He set it on the table and stared at it for a moment, unsure of what to do. Emily placed a hand on his shoulder. "Go ahead," she said gently. "Open it." With trembling hands, Daniel untied the bow and carefully unwrapped the package. Inside was a small wooden box, intricately carved with flowers and vines. He opened the box and found a letter inside, written in his mother's handwriting. "If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer with you. But I want you to know that I'm always with you, in your heart and in your memories. This box is a gift, a reminder of the love we shared and the love that will always be a part of you. Inside, you'll find something special, a key. It's the key to the old oak tree in our backyard, the one we used to sit under when you were a child. I've left something there for you, something I hope will bring you comfort and joy. I love you, my son. Always remember that you are never alone." With all my heart, Mom Daniel's hands shook as he held the letter, his eyes filling with tears. He reached into the box and found a small, rusted key. Without a word, he grabbed a flashlight and headed outside, Emily and the dogs following close behind. The old oak tree stood at the edge of the backyard, its branches bare in the winter cold. Daniel knelt at the base of the tree.